Year! Really out of practice.
New year, new gals.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Why? Because we're brand new and different people now? Because it is a new... No.
I love a new year.
Do you?
I'm a big fan of, like, New Year's. Just, like, starting off the year fresh. I love it.
I like a fresh start.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some fresh stuff today, too.
Oh, great lead-in. Fresh start for us.
So let's start with an agenda. Because you might be listening to this and being like, what is this episode? What are we talking about? So first of all...
We're also trying to figure that out.
No, I am
you
top,
know. No,
on
you
top
know,
of
you
it.
know.
We're doing a cocktail redemption.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to redo a drink that over the past year didn't go as well as we'd hoped. So we get to do a redo. Then we're going to name our favorite cocktail of the year. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what is up next for Books and Booze.
Mm-hmm.
What are we planning to do for 2025? Then we're going to talk about our top reads of 2024, which I think I'm the most excited about.
Yes. Side note, did we introduce ourselves?
Oh, we didn't. I'm Christine.
Jamie.
And that's what we're going to talk about this episode.
Yay.
I'm excited for the new year.
Same.
I'm excited for the new year, personally, professionally, and podcastily.
Yeah, same.
Because we are new podcasters. It's almost been a year that we've been doing this, and I feel like for some weird reason, now that it's a new year, it feels like we're doing a little bit of a fresh start, and maybe that's because we're also like, we're going to be starting new things.
Yeah, I feel like this is more of like,
things too.
This is more of a season 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I love it. And also just like such a new year for books. So that's exciting. And a new reading challenge year.
Did you change your reading challenge?
No, I left it.
Yeah, no, I left mine the same.
Yeah, because I realized like, I kind of got stressed out at the end there.
Yeah, that's never good.
No, and I'm
reading
like...
is supposed to be fun.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, not stressing out. So I'm like, I'm just going to leave my goal what it is. And I also have some big books that I need to read. So...
Same.
Yeah, just gonna... I started out pretty big, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start drinks.
Yes.
Because this podcast is about books, but we're also about...
Booze.
We're also about making book cocktails. Do you want to go first since we have your drink in front of us? Tell us where this drink came from. Tell us about the bad version.
The photos were so good for this originally. It was for chapter 54, right? 55.
Isn't it chapter 55?
I mean, it's debatable. It's 54 or 55. Some people, I feel like people go back and forth, personally.
No.
I feel like 54 is like the emotional
scene.
And 55 is like
when
the
they
physical.
Do it on the...
Yeah, 55 is the physical part, but 54 is the emotional reveal.
We're talking about A Court of Mist and Fury.
Yes. So it was for that with like the paint, everything. And so I tried to do like a romantic drink, and I did a sake with tea.
And raspberries.
Yeah, I didn't follow the instructions correctly with the tea, and it just wasn't really, it was really bad. It was just not good. So I tried to make a different type of a sake drink. So I just want to try it before the ice completely melts.
Okay, let's try your sake drink. Cheers.
Ooh, cheers.
Mm.
Oh.
What?
I like it.
No, I like it too. It's like a sake ginger lemonade.
Ooh, that is a good way of describing it. I'm trying to think now I'm looking what it's called. It's a ginger sakatini. So it's supposed to be in a martini glass. I didn't do that.
Oh.
But it is gin, sake, lime juice, ginger beer, and cucumber slice for garnish, which I will have in the photos and not in our drinks. It's a secret. I think there is a lot of ginger beer.
Yeah.
Which I think which in the recipe there is also a lot of ginger beer. I'd be curious to like...
Anytime there's ginger beer, it really overpowers.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm curious if I like... Because I'm going to, another behind the scenes, do the drink photos. I almost want to like cut the ginger beer in half and see what it tastes like.
I think that would make it way better. Because the ginger is really good in it, but to have a little bit more lemon and a little bit more gin would maybe make it
And actually, like, taste the sake.
more balanced.
So I feel
And
like I
the
can.
sake. Yeah, of course, that's supposed to be the redemption ingredient.
Yeah.
Yes, I like this way better than your chapter 55, so it is a success.
Thank God. I mean, that was so bad.
It wasn't great.
Yeah. I feel like with both like, if either of us did worse, that would be so bad.
I was so scared I was gonna do worse.
You were.
Now, unbeknownst to us, we both chose drinks with ginger beer.
Yeah.
I chose to do my drink from almost a year ago when we started this podcast, which was when we were doing Akatar, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Memories.
In the episode that was Fire Night, or Calamai.
Yeah.
And so my drink was Fireball for Fire Night. And obviously I used Fireball whiskey. And it was supposed to be like an apple pie, which was basically just like apple juice and Fireball whiskey and just I don't remember the exact ingredients other than Fireball whiskey and apple juice, but it just was like
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I feel like I can remember it. It was like a war. I don't know why it wasn't warm.
It wasn't cold.
Wasn't warm.
It wasn't cold enough.
It wasn't cold. Yeah, it was just like yeah.
I was so back and forth between redoing different drinks, but I knew that the Fireball one stood out to me so much in terms of like a fail. But I didn't want to do it because I just don't like Fireball. So I was like, I don't want to redo that one. But I was like, if I'm being true to myself and true to this podcast, that is the one I need to redo. Yeah. So we already tried it earlier today because it's hard to like keep drinks cold and stuff. Yeah. But
it was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Do I want to have that Fireball cocktail again? No, but that is just my general like taste. And,
but like, if I
really want Fireball,
if I ordered it at a bar,
it was good.
Yes, I would drink the whole thing.
Yeah,
it would be a good Valentine's Day drink, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, like so the cinnamon heart.
A Fireball whiskey. It was like a true cinnamon heart drink.
Yeah.
So Fireball whiskey, ginger beer, a splash of pineapple juice, and a splash of lime juice. And I ended up doing a pineapple and orange juice combination just because that was what was at the grocery store. And it was good.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
So, you're welcome, Cal and Mai.
Oh, Cal
I know you all want to drink it.
Oh, what a throwback.
Okay,
to be at Cal and Mai again.
We both win.
Both win the redemption because they weren't awful and didn't taste like, which was a feat. Oh, that would have been another good one for me.
The blood orange.
Yeah.
The blood orange drink. Yeah, the blood orange dress and the Court of Thorns and Roses. That one wasn't bad though.
No, it just smelled bad.
No, the other ones I wanted to redo was my peach drink that was the Golden Queen from A Court of Mist and Fury, right. And then maybe like the rainbow drink for the rainbow,
just
rainbow of Valaris, just to do a different type of rainbow drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Fireball was my worst.
Yeah, no, I agree. And next we're doing...
Let's talk about our favorite cocktail of 2024. There's almost been a year of cocktails, so there's so many to choose from. What do you think? What stood out to you as the best?
Honestly, still my favorite is the very first one.
What?
Yeah.
The first one you did?
The Spring Court cocktail is still my favorite.
What was it?
It was a strawberry thyme Lillet spritzer. So
Lillet Blanc is very good.
I think we maybe used it in one other cocktail. Or at least the kind that
you've gotten. I hadn't had it before you introduced it to me.
Yeah. I love it. I want to start using it more. But it was that. Lemon wedges, strawberries, like thinly sliced in it with some thyme. I didn't even realize what this recipe was. With ice and Prosecco. Mm-hmm. It's so simple.
Yeah.
But with the strawberries and the thyme, when they're like really... Which I made it again like a few months after we did this. And I was just like, oh, like when it actually kind of like sits with the strawberries and the thyme for a bit.
You gotta let it sit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. So I don't know if it's like nostalgia or what, but that's still the one where I'm like, oh, I just want to still have it again. Like, I love it so much.
I mean, that was a good drink. Okay. This is so funny because I was like, for sure we're going to pick the same one. So I was kind of like thrown off guard. I was like, what do you mean?
What do you mean it's your favorite one?
So I thought the best cocktail of 2024 was my, what is it called? My Misery Lark cocktail.
Okay, yes.
So Misery Lark is the main character in Bride
Yep.
by Allie Hazelwood,
Mm-hmm.
which was one of our bonus episodes.
Yeah.
It never got to be part of one of our cocktail countdowns because it was just like a one-off episode of a standalone book. But that cocktail was really good.
It was delicious. It was such like a dessert cocktail, I feel like.
But it wasn't too dessert where
It wasn't.
I feel like I'm eating a dessert or it's like really thick or like
No, it was amazing. I told numerous friends about it. That it was so like I was wildly surprised about it.
5 stars.
Yeah, 5-star. I agree.
And the best part about it is I made it myself. I created it myself. I didn't
Which I think is why also
I didn't Google it.
you tried a couple different things out.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was very, very good.
So it was dark rum, honey, peanut butter, but the sugary kind of peanut butter, not like the natural peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then coconut milk and then some salt on top.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
I feel like that's also a very good Valentine's Day one.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay. Well, yeah, I like that.
yeah, great choices
Yeah.
all around. Love it.
And I would just like to acknowledge that we're getting better at it.
Thank God. Even though I picked the first drink I ever made, but that was just surprising in general.
Okay.
Where I was like, oh, cocktails are kind of fun.
I'm good at this. Oh wait, I'm not so good at this. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm good. No, I'm not.
I hit it really big, yeah, and then it was just like, yeah.
Yeah. It was a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into the books, which are very important, I do want to say we got this wonderful gift from
Yes.
Rachel at Fan Corner Creations.
She has the cutest things, which I feel like I did share like once or twice, some like random things that she's made. They're really cute. Just super cute Harry Potter stuff.
Lots of Harry Potter stuff, but also other things outside of Harry Potter, right?
Yes. But what I first saw of hers was the Harry Potter stuff where I was like, oh my God, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's an artist and she has her own shop. She gifted us 2 black dragons.
A little bit of gold though.
With some gold on it. She sent us that after we finished our Goldfinch coverage. And they're so beautiful.
They make me so happy.
I will admit, gifts make me so uncomfortable. I love them because it's like, especially like gifts that you really like.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I don't even know how to like express how like grateful or happy I am. I feel like it's like never enough. But,
Yes, you brought them today. And I was just like, oh, they make me so happy just looking at them.
Yes. So Jamie and I each have this black and gold dragon now, but we'll post a photo of it, obviously. But we just wanted to sort of shout her out here and, go check out Fan Corner Creations and see what she has there.
So many good things. So many for like bookshelf things.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm excited to
We
decorate.
like a knick-knack.
We love a
We love our
knick-knack.
girl, the Weaver.
Love a knick-knack. Love decorating the bookshelf.
Let's talk about what we have up next. Or do we want to talk about our favorite books?
Let's do favorite books.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let's...
Do you have like an order? I didn't really do like an order.
Oh yeah, I have a 1 to 10 of 2024 for sure.
You have a 1 to 10? If we do 5.
No, we're only doing 5. Just
Oh,
personally,
okay.
I have a 1 to 10 list.
Heart attack. Okay.
This is really exciting. This is one of those things where like I sit with myself and I think about it and I'm like ready for a conversation. If I was ever to go to a dinner party,
This is what I want to talk about.
Please ask me about my favorite books of 2024.
Anybody.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about our favorite books of 2024.
Oh, I'm excited.
Please
Okay.
ask me about it. Ask me about it.
Yeah. Same.
I have an answer.
Same. Love it.
Okay, what's in your number 5 spot?
Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. Which I was surprised myself picking it a little bit. But it was just like just a really fun book.
Yeah.
And I love serial killers. Like, real life, they're awful. But
I mean, I like Dexter.
I love There's a new Dexter. It's like when he's young.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I didn't think it was going to be that good. I love it. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it. FYI. But I just love, and like the love story of it. And it was nothing like mind-blowing, but just really fun and good.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was just so enjoyable. I just love it. And at first, I remember seeing, like, the cover. This is again with the covers, which we've had the conversations. Where I was like, the covers, I don't know. It's almost like, it reminded me of, like, Avril Lavigne.
It's a little bit Avril Lavigne.
But now I'm like, I love it. And, like, it suits it because it is just such a fun, highly recommend.
Well, I'm going to have to read that at some point.
Yes. Please. Please do.
Okay.
I encourage it.
My fifth pick of 2024 is Addie LaRue by Victoria E. Schwab.
That's my number 4.
Oh, is it? Okay, so we could talk about it together then. So this book you got for me for Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas 2023.
Yes.
And so I finally read it closer to the end of 2020. Wait.
2024.
Yeah, 2024. And I loved it.
I loved it so much.
I ate it up.
Yeah.
I lost sleep over it. I stayed up way too late reading this book.
Yeah, I feel like it really like just transported me a lot, which I loved. And I sometimes randomly still think about the ending, like pop up in my head.
It's almost like I want a sequel.
But I don't.
But I don't want a sequel
so
because it's almost like a more perfect ending to not know.
Yes. But it was so good. And from just, at first, didn't even start slow, but I just felt like at first I'm like, wasn't really sure. I don't know, it was so good. It made me like just want to like travel.
Oh, I love going to the different places.
Yeah. Like, I feel like even though some parts of it were like horrible, but she really like transported you to those places, and like the back and forth between times was really well done.
I do want to insert here, when we're going to talk about our favorite books of 2024, we're not going to spoil you.
Yes, a good reminder for me also.
Right?
Yeah.
No, just as you're talking, I don't think you're spoiling anything.
No, but that is just, a good reminder.
But just if someone's listening and they're like, oh, are they going to talk about the books as if we have... No. If you haven't read it, we're not going to ruin it for you, because there are books that I've read that Jamie hasn't read and that you've read that I haven't read. So we're not going to do that to each other.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I just... yeah. I never thought about it, but I feel like it's also an automatic, almost when you're talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't even think about it. But yeah, I just feel like she does just a really good job of just transporting you to these different places and times. And
I always love books like that, where like there's different environments that you feel like you're there. You feel like you're going on a trip.
Yes.
And her writing is so easy.
Yeah.
It's so, it feels fluid. It feels like easy to follow, and yet it's not too simplistic. It's, I really enjoy her writing.
Yes, agreed. Looking forward to reading more of hers. I loved like just her there was so much stuff I just really like enjoyed, like not references, but I don't even know. Yeah,
I read one of her other books after I read this.
Oh, right.
And it wasn't my favorite. But it was one of those things where it was like, oh, I didn't love this story, but I still love her writing.
Yes.
So I still want to go see the other things that she's written. Like, it didn't deter me.
Yeah, well, that's good. But Addie LaRue, highly recommend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What did I put for number 4? So my number 4 is Lady of Darkness by Melissa K.
Oh, right.
Roerich.
Which I have not read.
This was such a surprising read. Lady of Darkness has been on my list for my TBR. It was one of those ones that's like just at your top of your TBR for so long and you just ignore it.
And I had not heard of it until you started reading it.
I just randomly saw someone on Instagram that liked the series, and then I just put, one of those things where you put it on your TBR and you're like, that sounds like I would want to read it, and then you just like never get to it. And I got to it, and then it's one of those series where you're like, oh, I wish I read this sooner. I'm obsessed.
Yes. So
I had been annoyed with Romantasy for a little bit. Yeah. And then I got to read
I feel like more than a little bit.
Well,
you quite a little, like...
And so Lady of Darkness was like a classic romantasy. It had all the sort of
Oh, that's so nice.
tropes, but it was done in a way that was like so intriguing to me. I thought the plot was clever.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout, if we're just talking about the first book, I loved the first book. The second and the third book, I was like, I'm not sure. I think I hyped this up too much because she's
yes.
getting a little chaotic. She's getting a little bit like long-winded. The characters are getting annoying. But I stuck with it, and then books 4 and 5, I was like losing sleep. Needed to read them. Obsessed with the characters.
Which is so exciting, just in comparison to like TV.
Yeah.
That rarely happens, right?
Yeah.
Like it's normally the opposite. But I find with authors, it's almost not that a lot of the times. It's almost like it gets better.
Well, sometimes.
So,
and this was
both.
a case of like it got better. Yeah. And there were still problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like that was like the similar experience with like ACOTAR. It's like, oh, there's some things that maybe like aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
But you like,
but you don't care.
Because there's parts of it that you just become addicted to, you just like, you don't care.
Yeah. Which is the best feeling.
And it was the first series since I don't even know when where I had like a massive hangover from it.
Oh.
Where I was like, I finished it and I was like, what am I gonna do? Should I go back and read some of it? Like I just like I was not okay.
Oh, that's such a like great feeling. I love that feeling so much.
But it's so awful. So check out that series.
I need to. I mean, I just miss
romantasy girly.
Having that like hangover. I love it. Okay, so number 3, I have the Daughter of No World series by Carissa Broadbent.
Oh.
Which I had on like what I wanted to read for so long, and the cover threw me off for the longest time, which we have talked about. But then I finally read it, and I loved it so much. Like it's my, like from all of her books, it's my favorite, that series. And I wish it was talked about more. It is like just a classic romantasy, obviously. But I just loved all the characters in it. And obviously like there's like a war and there's different things and lands, but just I really, really loved the characters in these books. And the politics of it. I don't even know, but I wish almost like this series was brought up more, because I do love her other series, the
Serpent in the Wings of the Night.
Yes, and that's like the Crowns of Nyaxia. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Nyaxia, yeah.
I did love that, but I loved this one way more. So just any fans of that, I would recommend.
Yeah. I read the Serpents in the Wings of the Night, and the Crowns of Nyaxia, but I haven't read Daughter of No Worlds. I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, I love it. And I thought something the other day she like posted, and I think it was something like her first sale, the first book, she like looked and then looked again. It was like 50 people bought it. I can't even remember.
It's like it's gotten so much traction in the last few years, and it was such a slow start for that series that it's like nice for her to see how many people are now discovering it, even though it is an older series for her.
Yeah. Like it is one that I would 100% reread. I just really like the 2 main characters I love. Yeah, I really don't even know what else to say without like saying
the story.
Oh, yeah. There's like the grumpy sunshine, I guess I can say that part. You know, I don't really feel like that does that much. I do love like the main female character. There's like a language barrier in it a bit, which I really enjoyed. I think it was like my first book like where it was like really evident that there was that barrier. It's just kind of nice. Like it was almost like realistic. Obviously fantasy's not, but I felt like there was a lot of real world stuff happening in the book, but it's still very like fantasy. Yeah. Now I'm just literally like things are like popping in my head, like remembering. I'm like, oh, read it. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Oh, I have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig,
which is my number 2.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. So we could talk about it.
So also number 3, I went back and forth, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So One Dark Window felt, after reading so many romantices in a row, felt like a breath of fresh air.
Yes, it's a very gothic novel, but the magic system
Is so unique.
yes. It was that, I feel like, what was for me so refreshing. It was just different. Just so much of what she brought was different to it. And I also felt like her side characters were so strong
Yep.
that they were just as strong as the main characters, if not stronger.
It was such a... It felt like, to me, like, the books felt simple, in a sense. It felt like simple and clear, and yet the magical system was unique and complex enough
Yes.
that it felt like simple in a good way.
Yes, they're like, it wasn't too much. Like, I wasn't trying to, like, figure things out or put things, like...
There wasn't, like, you know, constant, like, plot twists or, like, anxiety. It was just, like, this is, like, piquing my interest so much, and yet I have this simplicity of just these, like, good characters and good enough romance and this atmosphere and environment that she created that was a little bit, like, gothic and spooky, and
They were, like, 2 really good movies.
yeah, I'm just, like,
almost how I want...
fall time.
Yeah,
fall
like, because they're
time.
not huge
Not
books.
fall time, but, like, you know, just, like...
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But they're not, like, huge novels,
Yes.
which is nice, but just... they're just 2 perfect little packages.
Oh, just, like, little black
little boxes.
nuggets. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, love them. Number 1.
No, I'm at number 2.
Oh, right, because my number... Yeah, okay, go.
Okay. So my number 2 is Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
Is that your number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the whole series is.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So I didn't read Plated Prisoner in 2024. I read it in 2023. So just the book Goldfinch, which is the 6th in that series, I picked for my second pick.
Which, yes, I did pick up my first. Because I did start out the year...
You got to do the whole series this year.
Twice.
Yes.
And I was not mad about it at all.
Yes.
I maybe read Guild in December, so it might be like a little, but yeah, my number 1's 100% obviously Plated Prisoner series. But I did start the year out with it. Started the year out buying a Kindle because of it. I think that'll probably always be one of my number 1 series of all time.
Yeah.
Goldfinch. I don't want to cry or anything, but so sad you're over. I just love those characters, and obviously we've talked a lot about it.
Yes.
But yay, Raven Kennedy. And shout out to Christine for giving me Raven Kennedy's other series for Christmas, which was exciting. Mm-hmm. So I get to read that.
And telling you to read the Plated Prisoner series.
Yes, we're doing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I don't really have any books in my bedroom, and that I feel like was the first one where I put it. I have a shelf above my bed, and I think that's the only really, like, series I have.
I need it
there
with me while I sleep.
Yeah. I was like, you really, like, touched my soul, and I want to be, like, reminded of you there. And it's like the old one. You can't even get those anymore, like the...
You can't? The paperback?
The paperback. You can get the paperback, but they don't match the other ones.
They're not the same design.
Yeah. So it's old school. Goldfinch.
The Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy is fantastic.
Yeah. We will not recommend it enough. I had someone on Facebook post about how she was so proud because I can't remember how many books she read this year, but she started reading, like, romantic type books. My comment was literally, congratulations, read the Plated Prisoners. My comment.
You're welcome.
Yep. Okay, what was your number 1?
My number 1 was Red Rising.
Okay.
By Pierce Brown.
You're welcome.
Which was the other book that Jamie got for me for Christmas 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So both of your picks for me were in my top 5.
Yeah.
You have
Good
not
job,
read
me.
the Red Rising series, so
No.
you're like, okay.
Which both of those I hadn't read when I gifted them. I just did some research and.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, yes, I do need to read it.
You
So
really do.
That'll be on my list this year.
I don't want to traumatize you.
I feel like your comments have just
Really
traumatized.
deterred you?
Not deterred me. Does not deter me at all. But I'm just like, oh, like.
There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of violence.
I mean, I like violent movies.
Yeah. So, and I was okay. Okay.
Were you?
Now,
I don't know if you were.
Now I'm on, I just finished book 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first time in the books where I was like, I am not okay, actually. And I'm like having some physical symptoms of anxiety and sleeplessness because of this. It's the 5th one is called The Dark Age, and it is truly dark. I can't even.
But you really recommend it.
And at the same time, I recommend it. If you don't want to be horrified, I would say read the first 3. The first 3 remind me of reading the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas, where it's like, you could just read the first 3, and that would be succinct enough for you.
Yeah.
You could do that with Red Rising and not go further, and you'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep going further because I'm just, I don't even know why. I don't even know why. Like, I'm reading it and I'm like, why?
Option's there. You have to.
I was so happy at the end of, I was so happy. Good. I was so satisfied at the end of book 3. Why am I doing this to myself?
Oh, this makes me want to read it so much more.
And I can't stop. But because of how traumatized I was by the horrors of book 5, I'm gonna take months break because here's the story. I don't
know how you take a month's break if you're like reading something, which you've done with this series. I don't know how you do it.
I want to read the next one, but it was truly like I was not okay.
Okay.
I read one particular scene that was so horrifying and so triggering that I couldn't sleep. Like, I was about to it's like when you read a book when you're like, oh, I'm going to sleep now, and you're reading it, and then I read that scene, I was like, I obviously am not going to sleep now. Because if I close my eyes, I'm going to see this.
Oh.
So I need to read about 100 more pages to get this out of my brain.
Yeah.
And so I went to bed after midnight, even though I had to work a full day the next day, but I couldn't sleep. And then my husband, I thought he was asleep for like 20 minutes. And then he leans over and he's like, pokes me or something. Like, he tries to like scare me because I'm still awake. Sitting there in the dark, anxiously. And he did that and I immediately got up and I went to the couch. I'm like, no. That's how like... No.
Don't touch me. Do not speak to me. Don't look at me.
I am not okay.
He's trying to be funny.
Anyway, I highly recommend this series.
But it's the best when you have those reactions from books.
But look, back to like why it was my top. It's obviously a fantasy series.
Yeah.
But it was very a little bit like offbeat from what I had been reading.
Yes.
It's not like a romance book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like it was so addicting for me, just like the relationships and the politics of it, and just like the story of oppression, and it was so unique. It just it was like it was an emotional roller coaster. But Pierce Brown, especially in the first 3 books, did this. He didn't do this in the next books that were horrifying. But in the first 3 books, he has this really great ability of like, you're like so sad and crying, and then he brings it back up, and then you're like,
I remember you saying this.
Yeah, so it is like a roller coaster like that. Oh no, I'm really sad and I'm really scared and I'm really anxious. Oh my god, okay, things are going to be okay. Like, it keeps going like that in like a good way.
I'm almost mad now that I started reading what I started reading, and so many things. But there's so many things I'm like, our next thing, right, is excited things to read. what we're
Oh, do
excited
you want
to
to,
read
like,
this year.
like what you are looking for? Like, just
Yeah.
like a couple books that you're...
But I feel like it's so much, like, just so many.
Oh, I could go on forever. I know when I was thinking about this topic of, like, what is on your to be read in 2025, I think maybe the only thing I'll say is, like, I found that I had a lot of fantasy books.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not romantasy books. Like, I was like, oh, I keep putting on, like, these big fantasy books on my list. So, like, John Gwynne books, Brandon Sanderson, like,
both
Dune.
of those, I do want
I
to
haven't
dive
read
into
Dune.
those.
Like, you know, like, there's, like, these really
Dune,
big
I don't know if
fantasy
I'll
books.
read. But...
Why, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen
Oh, I haven't seen the movie, so I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay, I can read the book and not be... There, it's
Just
it's
that.
a big commitment, right? Like, those big,
'cause
giant
there's so
fantasy
many.
books.
Yeah. And there's so many, like, obviously, Onyx Storm.
Onyx Storm.
Which is the end of the month. Rachel Gillig has her next one coming out.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a couple, like, lead-ups of other ones. There's, like, the Blood and Ash finale, technically.
I am looking forward to the Blood and Ash final book. I will be reading that for sure.
Yes. Like, I'm reading the other one right now. And it's just...
The prequel
prequel finale. But it's just a big book.
It's a big book.
Yeah.
What's that called? Born of Blood and Ash?
Born of Blood and Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I have enjoyed just starting to read just because I'm like, it's like coming home to old friends. Because you, like, know the characters and stuff, so it's nice. But it's very large.
I love it.
Bryn Weaver's also doing the third from the Butcher and Blackbird. So there's the third one. I believe that's coming out this year, and I'm excited for that.
What is up next for Books and Booze in 2025?
I'm going to throw some mocktails in this year, I feel like.
You want to do some mocktails?
I want to do some mocktails.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some really good ones. And I was out, I had brunch the other day. I don't really do brunch ever.
Why? Brunch is great.
I know it is. And I went with my friend. And I was like, I never ever do brunch. And people always do brunch. I'm like, it's so great.
Well, people have to go to work.
Well,
I guess on the weekend.
But I work weekends mainly.
you work,
so when people do brunch, I just never get to do it. And we were talking about just restaurants in general. There's so many good mocktails now, like, out there, like, options, which is so great. So I was like, I want to try some. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, that and an egg white drink. Those are my New Year's resolutions for Books and Booze.
That's a good goal. My goal for my cocktails, which we weren't even planning shit to say.
Yeah, I'm just throwing this in.
My plan for my cocktails is to try and make mine more aesthetically pleasing.
Ooh.
Sometimes I forget about that part. I'm always, like, trying to look for the perfect, like, ingredients or combinations or, like, recipe, and then I go to, like, make it, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think of, like, how this would look. I need to, like, make this look nice also.
Okay, we have lots of good goals.
Okay.
But besides that...
But what is up next for the actual books in this book podcast?
Yes.
So up next for us is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig.
Which I hope we're saying right. Gillig?
I don't know. Is there a different... Like, Gillig.
Gillig. Yeah, but yeah.
Anyway, One Dark Window.
Yes.
And Two Twisted Crowns. That is going to be our main coverage, the one that we're sort of breaking down. We're going to break each into 3 parts.
So excited.
And on top of that, we're going to introduce some new episodes. So one of which that is going to be reoccurring is our book club episodes.
All Christine's idea, because she's a genius.
So the idea is to make it like a book club in the sense that it is obviously our book club, but Jamie and I will take turns. Jamie and I will take turns picking a book. Mm-hmm. And we will pick a standalone book, so not a series book.
Yes.
And we will tell you the book ahead of time, so if anyone wants to read the book before the episode, they can. but we will do a full episode on one full book, right? Which is a little bit different than what we usually do, which is breaking down books.
Yes.
So that is what we're going to do. We're going to cover some standalones this year, which is really fascinating because there is such a trend, especially in romantasy, to do duologies and series, that we're going to be able to cover the standalones,
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to do it every month, but
It'll be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our first pick for our February book club is
That's not it. I don't know how to do a drum roll. That was not a drum roll.
A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young.
Ooh, yay. Oh my god, and we get to cast more people.
Exactly.
So excited for casting people.
She is also the author of The Unmaking of June Farrow,
Which you have read, and
which
I have not.
have read, and Spells for Forgetting.
Yes.
So she has done some standalones, and so the book that we're covering is her newest release.
Yay.
And I really like her books because they're not an emotional roller coaster. They are like very vibey, like chill. Even though there are serious things going on, right? They're like magical. It's like usually it's a murder mystery, and it's just like it's
Is
nice.
it magical? I don't even know.
It's a little bit magical.
Okay, there's some magic in it though.
The two books that I have, the standalone books that I've read of hers, they were like a little bit magical.
Okay. As long as there's magic.
Yeah, it's just like a little bit.
Yeah.
So start reading that book because we are going to start reading it too.
Yay. February book club. I'm excited to get back into like casting calls. Mainly casting calls. I love casting calls.
I just want to cast characters.
I just want to cast people, MVPs, villains.
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoy that.
I'm excited. I know this is going to sound awful to take a break from Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
Even though those books, obviously,
Love them so much.
But we've been covering them for a year.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to explore other things.
Yeah.
I would also like to say, I probably should have said this more up front, but we had said that we were going to cover A Court of Frost and Starlight. And I, at this point, would have posted this on social media already. But I just didn't want to read it.
I did end up like enjoying. We did actually record the first part. I made drinks for it and everything. And then the second part, I enjoyed. I think I even did it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, reading it during that time just because it was the festive time. But I also don't have like the children.
You know what?
Stuff.
It wasn't the time. It wasn't even like, do I have time to read this? Because I read other things during that time.
You just weren't.
It was more just like, I was not in the mood for it.
Yeah.
I was like reading it and it felt like a chore. And so it was one of those things where it was like, this podcast and us talking about books is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
And so it was a realization of like, why am I forcing myself to read this thing? Like,
that's a really healthy choice for you, where I was just like, no, Jamie, this is your homework and you have to read it and you will.
No. I do want to say, because we're doing a little bit of this is like almost a year since we've, started this podcast. I do want to say a big thank you to anyone who listens to this. It's like absolutely nuts to think about as just like two 30-something ladies, who obviously like have other professional jobs who we're sisters and we just like do this for fun, and we enjoy talking about this, and we get to like record it and then put it on the internet and people actually listen to it. That's like such a cool thing. I think that's so neat. It's
wild.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very
So for anyone who does that, thank you.
Yes. When Christine brought this to me a year ago, last New Year's, we did sit and we like talked about what we would do and trying to kind of make a plan.
Yes.
I didn't actually think like a year later we would still be doing it, or that it would have, yay. Love it. I'm not going to get emotional about it, so.
Thank you for listening today to all of our ramblings and opinions.
Our New Year's rambling.
We love you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. New year. New books. Old books. All the books.
New booze. Old booze. Old hags.
Oh no. Okay, bye.